week, so he won't be in practice today. We'll see where he's at tomorrow and the day afterwards.
They're a different place to play now, Anthony, since they put in the stands near the scoreboard. It seems like field goals from 40 to 45, maybe there's a better chance to make them compared to when it first opened.
Yeah, I haven't played there since they made those adjustments, so I don't know. I'll see when I get there, but I just know it's a heck of a place to play a football game, and it's always fun when you go there. The fans are really into it, and it's a tough football team. It's a good challenge for us.
And you talked before about liking players who score, can score points, and Melvin certainly has done that. Is that going to be the toughest thing to replace? He's, I think, got almost a third of the team's touchdowns.
Well, yeah, it's hard to replace, his production because he's a heck of a player. But we're going to go with Austin and Justin Jackson and D-Trez. And, I have a lot of confidence in those guys. We all do. And I think they'll step up, and we're looking for them to do a good job.
And with Austin, will he come off some of those special teams?
He will, yeah. And that's what you hate is that you take Austin, your best special team player, off of teams. And that can hurt the coverage units a little bit. But we have some guys that are going to be given a heck of an opportunity to step up on special teams and make some plays. Those coverage units, they have been pretty good this year. And so just Trayvon Johnson, he's getting better. Just other guys will have multiple opportunities on Sunday to make a difference.
When you looked at the film, what did you see from Justin Jackson from Sunday's game?
I saw the same thing I saw on Sunday. Fresh legs. He's a good runner, very instinctive guy, intelligent football player. You can use him in a lot of different ways. He's a better receiver than what most people think. So, he's a good talent.
The Steelers have a really good record in prime time, especially at home. And you referenced some of the things about Heinz Field. What specifically is cool about playing a game there? I mean, what are your thoughts, memories of coaching there?
Played there a few times when I was with the Jets, and it was just the environment, the atmosphere, the tradition that they have, at that place. I can't think of the name of the song where they played in the third quarter.
Renegade.
Yeah, Renegade. The place goes crazy. I mean, we went crazy. We liked it. So, it's going to be a fun experience for the young guys that's never played that before.
We're at the point of the year, the games become more important. The weather starts getting bad. The defenses get good.
Yeah.
Did your coaching philosophy alter a little bit?
I think the way we're built, we're built for this time of year, December. We feel like our offense, defense, special teams can travel. And, we're very balanced right now, especially on the offense side of the ball. I think our rush attempts are higher than our pass attempts as far as percentages. So we feel like we can take our offense anywhere and play. We have guys on this team that play well in cold weather games, so I'm looking forward to that.
You called Austin a couple of times the strongest guy pound for pound on the team. Was there a time when he proved that?
Well, I mean, we go through the all-season program and you do these percentages and weights and all this, and we were very surprised at how strong he was. So, I mean, he is technically pound for pound strongest guy on our team. But that's why you see him running through tackles. That's why you see him creating yards after contact. He can do those type of things. He's not a big back, but he can still do those type of deals.
So when you say that, you actually tested, and he was the strongest pound for pound.
No doubt, no doubt. That's a fact. Okay. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. Yeah.
Anthony, I'm sure you don't think a lot about what people think on the outside, but it seems like teams are always grasping for disrespect. We saw the Eagles do it last year with the underdog thing, and they ride that. They have to almost synthesize it. You guys, it seems, don't even have to do that. You can fly under the radar. I wonder if this is a particularly tight-knit team because of that.
Yeah, I think when you grab for those deals for that external motivation, I think it can backfire on you. I think these guys do a heck of a job of playing for each other. That's all the motivation they need. They just show up every day. We have a goal, we have an agenda, and guys are staying focused. They're sticking to the plan. They're doing the little disciplines every day that it takes, to be successful on the weekend. So that's kind of what we focus and emphasize right here.
Do you remember a time last year or this year that the first time Austin caught your eye that he can be a significant contributor?
San Francisco, last preseason game. His consistency. It's just every time he went in the game, the chains moved every time. And so, it's got to be something to this. So we kept him on the team, and he became a really good special teamer. And every time we put him in last year, we moved the sticks. He's very consistent in what he does.
Was he on the roster bubble last year, the Frisco game, or?
He was on the roster bubble, absolutely. It was that game that he made the team.
Do you feel like you guys are better prepared to be without Melvin this weekend that you were last time you were without him against the Titans?
Well, I guess if you're gonna miss a guy like Melvin, it's better to do it later in the year because your young guys have more reps, and they've been around longer. And I think those guys have been waiting on the runway and waiting, and now they're ready to go. And so they can fill Melvin's shoes. Well, not completely, but they can help until Melvin gets back.
What do you most admire about Ben, and how is game planning against him different than other quarterbacks?
You know, he can just make all the throws. I mean, he's very accurate, and he's a scrambler. He create a lot. He make a lot of his plays off creating, and so we got to get him down. You know, when we got to get pressure on him first. That offensive line they have is doing a heck of a job, but we got to get Ben. We got to get him down because he's a strong guy. You know, he can just throw it by people hanging on him. He's just he's a Hall of Famer for a reason.
Will you have Brandon Mead being available this week?
No, we would not. I mean, he's handling some personal. He has some family things that he's taking care of, and his leadership is needed elsewhere.
How big is it having the offensive line, particularly Pouncey, leading it without Melvin, having those younger guys running behind a group that's been pretty consistent?
It's good to have a guy like Pouncey, on that front line. He does a lot communication-wise. His attitude, his mentality, his work ethic, it's contagious, and it's a big reason why we've improved in that area. Guys like Pouncey, Virgil Green that we brought in, they're doing a heck of a job.
And then is it important that you mentioned the young guys that kind of been watching Melvin the entire time, but they were also in your off-season program, so in terms of their knowledge base of your offense, does that help?
Oh, absolutely. They're veterans now. I tell them, after 3 games, you're a veteran. You get no more rookie mistakes, no more rookie excuses. And so I think they're ready to play.
What's the difference between Justin and Detrez in terms of their running style? How are they different?
I would say Detrez is a little more powerful. He's built differently. You know, he's a pretty explosive young man. And, Justin, he has more versatility. You can use him in the backfield. You can use him outside. You know, I've been playing him at wide receiver on the scout team, and he's been running some pretty good routes in practice. Has excellent hands. So I think you can do more with Justin within our offense. But Detrez, he's a good runner, really good runner.
The offense had such a tremendous game Sunday. I wonder, 3 days removed now, you can look back. Are there things that we might not notice that really went well, that looking at the film and looking that you picked up?
Well, guys executed. After the first 12 minutes of the game, the execution was off the charts last week. And I looked for signs of that on the sidelines. Did anything shift? Did anything happen? And it was just nobody flinched. And that's what I like about this group. They don't flinch. They stay the course. And when we started clicking, we were clicking on all cylinders. But no, I just think this execution just really stood out.
Did you learn anything about your guys, Anthony, the way you had the frustrating loss and you fell behind early, and then, like you said, you didn't flinch? Did you learn anything about your team in that comeback?
Yes, that they're very resilient, and that they can bounce back and they can forget about the past, stay in the present, and take advantage of it.
When you're chosen to play the marquee game at night, national audience, do you revel in that, or you rather just assume just get it done during the day?
It's nice to play at night, play a national televised game, so that everyone can see you play. I'm okay with that. I think that's something I want to get used to around here. And so I think our players, I think they like it. And so it's just another game. We don't want to make it a bigger game than what it is, because the game last week was just as important, in my opinion. So we want to stay in that mindset. I think these guys play well when they're loose and confident. I don't want guys uptight and thinking about national televised game and big game. No, I'm not making it out to be that at all, because I think it's just another game.
You've coached in the East Coast, now on the West Coast. Do you think it is a problem for teams to go from the West out to the East in the cold, in the rain?
No, it's when you're an East Coast team, you tell your team it's a problem, that's a problem. You try to get a competitive advantage. The sunshine boys come into the cold and they can't play in the weather and all that. I've been mind tricked like that before. It doesn't work.
How tough it is to bring Ben down, with Smith-Schuster and Brown. How important is it, the stress of the secondary, staying on those guys?
Very much, yeah. It's going to be tough to bring them down. That's his trademark, but we have to do a good job of doing that and doing it clean. We don't want to fall on the quarterback and get these unsportsmanlike penalties. But we got to get him down. But we also got to stay with our guys in the secondary because they are creating and making big plays in the secondary off scramble drills. So it's going to be important. When he move out of that pocket, it's cat coverage. You got that cat and you stay with him.
What do you emphasize, Anthony, to bring him down?
We have a charger roll. We'll wrap up and roll to keep our weight off the guy and get him down. And we just have to be really good at that this week.
All right, thanks, guys.
Okay?
What are you seeing from the Steelers defensively?
Around and play like you've seen Pittsburgh play for many years. So, I mean, obviously it's different than the Pittsburgh teams from way back, but very similar as far as same style of players that play hard, fly around, and get after both the run and the pass. They're really good. So, and they'll be back at their place now. They've been gone on the road a couple weeks. So, that'll be a heck of a challenge.
Philip, after Sunday, your record-setting game, guys like Brett Favre, Tom Brady, they were recognizing you, saying that you're one of the most underrated quarterbacks probably of all time. What does that mean to you to have guys like that say that about you?
Yeah, well, shoot, those are some of my favorites. So, no, I mean, it's humbling. You're appreciative of that. But as y'all have heard me say every week, both good and bad, it's a week-to-week league. When Monday rolled around, it was time to move on to the next one and know that you can't relax. Like I said, there's a lot of guys contributing for that game on Sunday, but that one's gone. It just counted as one. It didn't count any more than one win, and we got a heck of a December ahead of us.
Any specific memories of Heinz Field? I mean, what do you notice when you're visiting?
Yeah, well, I mean, I always picture it and remember it. We've been there a couple times late in the year, and then you always watch them in the postseason. Both the atmosphere from a fan standpoint, and usually there's some weather involved. It doesn't look like there might not be this week, but who knows? You never know. And I just thought just kind of an old school football team all the way around, and obviously, Ben's been there forever on the offensive side leading that group, and then just defensively, they always just had tough, really good players that rush the passer, they hit. I mean, I feel like some of the most physical games we've been in have been at Pittsburgh, and we haven't fared very well there over the years, other than the 2012 when we went there. But it's kind of it's one of those. I mean, Kansas City's that way to me. Pittsburgh, it's kind of one of those just old school NFL atmospheres. And throw the fact that it's in December with two teams that are, right there in the hunt in the ACC, in the AFC, right there in the hunt, and you expect a heck of a game.
Anthony mentioned Renegade, them playing Renegade.
Oh yeah.
People standing in the corkscrews.
I mean, I remember that vividly in 2008 playoff game. They sang that live. Right there was big snowflakes falling pregame. It was like out of a dream. I was like, this is it. This doesn't get any better than that. Right before the coin toss, the game didn't go so well, but it was. It's that. I mean, it's really what. I mean, the fact that they moved to Sunday night. It's everything you can think about as far as from that standpoint. And then when the ball gets kicked off, it's still the same game we got to play and we got to execute and find a way to win against a tough team.
Phil, you've been in these kind of games before, late in the season, night games, Sunday night games, two winning teams like this, but a lot of these guys in the locker room haven't been on Sunday night before. Do you sense a different level of excitement or just a regular game?
I mean, I think it would be silly to say it's just another game from the standpoint of that. I mean, I think you should be excited, and I think for guys, I mean, I still get excited when you play in these games. You mentioned it being a Sunday night game. Well, these guys that hadn't been in one, I mean, those are the games you grew up watching. You didn't always, didn't have the ticket and all the red zone and all that. It was whatever game was on Sunday night, Monday night. That's what you watched. At least way back when we were little. These guys may have had different access, but so it's always exciting, and I think it's okay to have a little added juice. I mean, I think that just comes with it, but I also think it's still key that we keep your normal routine, keep your normal week, and approach it like we have been. Because if you're going to approach this one differently, like I've always told you, then what have we've been cheating ourselves in previous weeks, which we haven't. So I think keep it the same, keep it normal. Coach will do that. He always has been very steady for us from the front, and then we got to prepare and go find a way.
Without Melvin playing this week, how much does it help you guys having a guy like Austin Eckler who's versatile coming out the backfield?
Yeah, Austin did a nice job. You know, I think you've seen what he gives us. I mean, he caught 10 balls last week, and obviously what he's capable of doing running the football as well. It was good to get JJ in there a little bit too. Let him get the ball. He got it once or twice in Tennessee, but getting some carries, you know, having a big run, I think that'll add to his confidence as well. So, you know, we'll collectively have to pick up anytime. If you're going to be down one of your best guys, then it's a group effort to kind of pick up the slack there.
Bill, Anthony was talking about how Austin is pound for pound strongest guy on the team. Anytime you remember being shocked by his strength?
Well, I just think anytime you're in the weight room and he's in there, you see it. But especially in the off season, you know, when the guys are handling a little more weight. Yeah, I mean, you see a big guy get off the bench and him grab the same set of dumbbells, you know, and lay down. So it's he is strong, and I think he's his balance. You see how low he is just when he's cutting it in and out of holes, and I think that's what sometimes you can see him from afar and say scat back and all those things, but he's just so powerful and tough to bring down. Very seldom does the first guy get him. And I know he'll be excited. Obviously, he never hopes to. Everybody wants opportunity, but not in this fashion. But he'll be. We have a lot of faith in him.
Same at B-Bang, going pound for pound on the.
I don't know. I don't want to let out where Mebane sits, but no, he is. Austin's a strong guy.
Because of your draft class, you're often linked with Ben. Quarterbacking wise, how would you say you two might share similarities, and how are you not similar as quarterbacks?
Yeah, well, shoot, we're probably similar in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously he does a great job extending plays, moving around, and hard to bring down, hard to sack, and has probably made a lot more plays on the move than I have over the years. But in a lot of ways, we both like to stand in there and don't mind holding on to the last second to make a throw and take a hit and all those things. And you know, he's been a heck of a player for them for a long time. So always, again, it's never about the other quarterback. You've got to worry about that defense, but it's always. I always enjoy and appreciate when the quarterback on the opposing side, whether you're linked from the draft class or whether it's a guy that's of his caliber, it's always awesome going against those led teams by those kind of guys.
Phil, do you self-scout after Sunday game like that? Are you especially critical and go back and really try to find what you can pick apart from that game, or do you just move on to the next game and not look at what happened?
Yeah, I think there's somewhere in between. Certainly watch it. And I mean, I was sick about the turnover, the fumble, really. I mean, because we had a play on that probably should have just left on. I changed the play to one that was going to cause us to hold it a little longer and then turned it over, you know, and I had plenty of time on that play to get a pass off, and I just held on the ball too long. So, I mean, that's one that stands out because that's a turnover that you can quickly brush aside and go, it didn't cost us, you know, because our D goes 3 and out, they miss a field goal. But those are huge plays in games, and we know that. So that's one that stands out. But, yeah, I don't spend a whole lot of time, especially when you know what's coming this next week. You got to jump to Pittsburgh quickly, especially at this point in the season. You know, I think you acknowledge the things you need to clean up, what could we have done here and there collectively as a group, and then it's, hey, on to the next game and figure out what we're going to do against these guys.
You mentioned the pressure that the Steelers bring. Your numbers, I think, are maybe the best in the league when under pressure. How would you explain that success that you've had?
Well, I think a lot of it is, I mean, shoot, our team, our offense does a heck of a job preparing, and then I think it's again it's schematically what Wiz and the offensive staff does, and it's our guys knowing. Or at least making themselves available and knowing this ball can come out quick. Hey, we're going to try to hit this and this, but all of a sudden they bring something unexpected, and it's, hey, Melvin, get your head around, Austin, get your head around here, Virgil. So it's them making themselves available so we can avoid those negative plays. I think so. I think that's the biggest thing when you think about success versus pressure. To me, if it's a 2-yard gain because you had to get it out instead of throwing it away, then that or taking a sack, that's turning a disaster into a positive. So I think it's a little bit of all of those. It'll be especially important this week. Guys who's hot, who's knowing where the outlets are, because they certainly they make it very hard for you to pick them all up because they're coming from all over the place all the time.
Philip, you played with Mike Pouncey for 11 games now. Is there anything that surprised you about him that maybe you didn't think or know coming in?
I don't know. I don't want to say surprised, because to me then that paints it as I had an opinion about him, a strong opinion either way, and I really didn't. I respect him from afar, just knowing, hearing guys talk about what a good player he was. But other than that, I didn't really have. So I had no, yeah. So, but I think the thing that's really stood out to me about him, besides, and I could make a long list of things about him as a player and the things, I think it's just really how much he loves to play. I mean, he absolutely, you should have just seen him in this walkthrough. Now, we're giving him a hard time because it's because we're playing against you, it's because your brother's on the other side. Is that why you got a little more juice already this week? But, I mean, he really does enjoy the preparation, the game. I mean, he the way he practices. I mean, I think that's what has really stood out. I wouldn't say surprised me. It was just been like, this guy loves football. I mean, he loves every bit of it. He's so engaged all the time during the week as far as what we're trying to get done. He cares a great deal, and I think, again, that rubs off. Not that we don't have a lot of guys that way, but I think when you have a guy there that's in the middle that's that way, it certainly can be impactful.
So certainly you guys have that in common, because, I mean, you're similar, right?
Yeah, no, I think in that way we are. I think in that way we definitely are, because we both are a little bit nuts when it comes to how we approach the game.
With what your draft class has accomplished with you, Ben and Eli, is there a rivalry between you guys, or?
I don't see it that way. I mean, I think you compete amongst quarterbacks. There's probably some that tell you they don't. I think they're probably lying to you. But I don't go into this game thinking, I don't from that standpoint. But you're going to be linked to guys. I think at least I'm excited that I'm a part of that group. It's a heck of a group to be a part of. Thinking back to 2004 and all of us still in the same team, and the games, the yards, and all those things, and how many games we've played in and been available for our team. So I think I'm excited to be them to let me be a part of those two guys and what they've done. I hope they feel the same way. I think it's something we can look back and be proud of as that draft class. But I don't see it as I don't check to see where we all stack up and all that stuff. I know we've all three, sustained pretty long, good careers. One thing obviously that those two guys have been able to lead their teams to and do, we all know, and we haven't, but we're going to keep fighting like crazy to get it done.
With that sense of pride, do you think it'll go down as one of the better QB classes of the last 20, 30 years?
I don't know. I mean, that's not for me to decide. I don't see how it wouldn't. But again, those aren't things that I'm trying to get a first down on Sunday night right now, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty good group.
You have much of a relationship with Ben?
I don't. We've been at the Pro Bowl a couple times together, so you visit there and talk through games and ball and family and stuff. But I can't say we know each other very well.
Thanks, Phil.